Hey, what's good, folks? Got another reaction for you today, man. This title, this video is "What a Bouncer Taught Him about Single Moms." This is from the homie South Paul Honcho. He's a lefty just like me. Let's get to the video. I'll leave the OG link in the description.
Guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you what being a bouncer actually taught me about single mothers. And guys, I'm
Okay.
not going to hold back. Not only am
All
I
right.
going to share with you guys what I learned as a bouncer, but
Mm.
also in my own personal life so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did and waste years of your life. And yeah, this video might offend some people. You know what I'm saying? People might not like this video. But everything that I'm going to talk about in this video are facts, they're truth, and their experience that I not only saw, but lived myself. Okay, things that I've never shared before. So
Yeah, I mean, you gotta sometimes when you do videos like this, you gotta be uncanny, you gotta be upfront, and you're gonna offend some people. I did videos that offended people, so bruh, you ain't bother nobody with this, man. You be truthful.
point number one that I'm going to make in this video is single mothers are single for a reason.
Mm.
Okay, now I've heard people say this before and I never really understood what that meant, right? Because maybe they just got cheated on, and right, I never really
Yeah.
understood what single mothers are single for a reason meant until I
Mm.
started to actually get involved with one. But one thing that I would
Mm.
notice, guys, in the clubs was that a lot of the regulars, they actually had kids. So what I mean was, like, a lot of the women that I would see on a regular basis, like, they actually had kids. And in my
Man.
head, I would always wonder, like, why does this chick who has a kid, why is she always in the club? Like, shouldn't she be home with her kids? Like, what is she doing here? Like, what the fuck? But it was never like a big question for me because I never had any sort of relationship or involvement with a single mom, right?
That's the thing though. You didn't have a relationship with a single mother. So a lot of times, man, them single mothers, they go into the club because you gotta look at it. They had the kid, and the kid and probably took some time off their dating life or they're going out life with their friends. So they trying to make that time up. That's the reason why they're in the club more.
So it was just a question that never made sense to me. And I always kind of looked at them a little weird, right? But it wasn't until I got involved in a relationship with a single mom that I
Mm.
actually gained a whole different perspective of the situation, right? So um, I was bouncing, and this was when I moved down to South Carolina.
Okay.
I was bouncing and I met this chick, right? This chick had great energy, or so I thought, right? She
Mm.
was very happy, outgoing. She had a good, fun vibe. So we ended up exchanging numbers, right? I met her when I was bouncing. And the important thing is that I quickly found out that she actually had a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing
Okay.
about it was I was highly attracted to this chick. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I was like, you know what? She has a kid. I've never been in this position before, and I don't even want kids, right? Because
Mm.
I've never really had that interest of having kids. So in my head, I was like, all right, look, I'm not interested in having kids. You know what I'm saying? The risk is too fucking high. So if I have to, you know what I'm saying, help her with her kid, I don't see that as a problem because I don't really want kids of my own, right? So
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that you got to realize. If you don't want kids, I think it's more harder when you don't want to have kids, period, to deal with the person with kids because it's like you basically got one hand strapped behind your back. I mean, I wanted kids and I dealt with women with kids, so it wasn't a big issue for me. Let's continue.
I almost saw it as like a win-win, as stupid as that sounds, right? Because I
I
didn't
don't
understand a
know,
lot of
man.
things, right? I almost saw it as a win-win. So I was like, all right, whatever. If I have to help raise your kid, that's fine because I don't want a kid of my own. So at least I'm doing something for society and I'm helping raise a kid with a father masculine figure. Or so I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So I ended up going out with this chick and I quickly realized that this was one of those chicks that would be out in the club every week. Okay. And it was
Mm.
like the second time I hung out with her. And I asked her, hey, like, where's your kid at? You know, like, where's your kid at? And she told me, oh no, she's with my mom.
Red flag, yo. When the woman is always out in the club and the kid is with the mother, that's a major red flag. It ain't like it's like once every month or once every 2 to 3 weeks. If you out in the club every week and your mom's got the kid, that's a major red flag, yo.
And as soon as she told me that, I already started to think, I don't want a kid with this chick. Mind you, I never wanted a kid in the first place, right? But I already knew in my head, like, this chick is recreational use only. Okay.
Facts.
She's leaving her kid
Facts.
at the house while she's going to shake ass, drink, and club. Not only once every so now and then, but every fucking week. Okay.
Damn.
So I already knew, like, all right, let me proceed with caution, right? The more I got to know this chick, the more red flags that I began to see. Okay.
Yeah.
But since I was so pussy whipped, essentially, by the fact that this chick looked pretty good and has such a good energy and vibe, I kept going deeper and deeper into the situation. One
You went deeper and deeper to the rabbit hole, and he found out she was just recreational sex. That's all it is, bro. Women like that, man. They go out to the club every week. They shaking their ass every week. You know what it is, man. You got whipped. You said you got whipped, and that's the reason why you kept on going.
thing that caught my attention, guys, was that this chick would be buying bottles, right? Maybe every other week she'd buy a bottle, right? Like a Don Julio's or like a fucking, it was Don Julio's, right?
Huh?
And also, she would actually buy me drinks every so now and then. Now, at the time, guys, I was
Okay.
working as a barber and I was just starting my barbering career. So, like, I
Yeah.
remember having to check my bank account every time that I would go out because I didn't even have that much money to buy drinks. And there were a
Yeah.
couple of occasions where she would buy me drinks, right? So, in my head, I was like, damn, like,
She
I guess this
balling.
chick got some money, right? I guess this chick got some money. And I'm not going to say her occupation here because I don't want people to know who I'm talking about, right? So, what I ended up realizing, guys, was that this chick was essentially broke. Like this chick was essentially
Damn.
living some sort of paycheck to paycheck life. And the reason I found out about this was because she would always complain about the fact that her baby father is very stingy. He doesn't send me enough money. He doesn't help me out with the kid. He doesn't want to contribute enough money. But meanwhile, this chick was out here literally buying drinks for me, okay, buying bottles and going to the club every week, okay.
That's the thing though. Like, how you gonna complain about the dude? I understand how some women are. The dude ain't doing nothing for the baby, man. But your ass is going out to the club every week buying Don Julio bottles and spending money on your new man or whatever. But that money that you could have been using to buy Don Julio bottles, you could be using for your daughter. You know what I'm saying? You see the contradictory shit right there? And I'm glad he found out because honestly, that to me was the major red flag. You going out to the club and buying Don Julio and all this shit while your daughter in there at home with moms and shit.
And that already made me realize, like, yo, thank God her baby daddy doesn't send her a lot of money because look what she's fucking doing with it. And guys, I
Yeah.
literally realized that the drinks she would buy me was literally with the money of her fucking baby father. Guys, picture this:
It,
child support money that a lot of these dads pay these single moms. This fucking single mom was out here in the clubs buying liquor,
mm.
buying me drinks, buying bottles, to then complain to her baby father and tell him, yo, you're not sending me enough money. I need more help with the kid. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, like I said, she's taking the baby father's child support money and going buying bottles and then complaining. You got the man on child support. The judge put that man on child support for a certain amount for a reason, and you still complaining. Like, get the hell on out of here, man. This shit is sad, yo.
So this is what made me realize, yo, single mothers are single for a fucking reason. Okay. That's the first point that I realized. And seeing this from the inside perspective made me realize, like, yo, I'm gonna just treat her as recreational use only. But what happened was, guys, I ended up getting involved in a situation, actually
Mm,
developing a relationship with a child, and I'm gonna get into that later. Okay. But bottom line, she was essentially buying me drinks, spending the money that her baby father would send her in the clubs and to buy me drinks and to buy bottles. Okay.
mm.
And one time she actually didn't have enough money to pay rent to the point where her electricity got shut off. Right. And at this point,
Wow.
this is when I realized, like, yo, something's really fucking off. Something's really off. You know what I'm saying? But at that point, I was so involved in the relationship with her and her kid that I wanted to be a savior to her kid. Yeah,
No, I mean, you want to be a savior to the kid, but at the end of the day, that ain't your kid. Like Shawty doesn't even have her own priorities straight. Her ass going out to the club but can't even pay her rent and pay her electric bill. I be damned if I be going out to the club every week and can't even pay the bare necessities of my bills, yo. I gotta rent, I gotta pay rent, I gotta pay electric, I gotta pay gas, I gotta pay insurance, all that shit. If all that shit ain't paid, I ain't going no goddamn way. But you know what though, man? Some of these women, they don't understand that shit, man.
saw her struggling because of her own decisions, and I wanted to be there for the kid, which I'm going to go into later. But bottom line, guys, a lot of these single moms, they live in this real reality where they prioritize themselves over their kid. Guys, if their
Yeah.
kid was a priority, they never would have left their baby daddy. They would have sucked their own pride. They would have worked things out with the father just because their kid is their priority, and they would have wanted their kid to have a strong father figure or have a father figure. But since they're their own priority, whether that's because they're out clubbing or their ego is their own priority, that they can't just swallow their pride and just work things out with the baby father, they're single mothers. And I really legitimately realized how deep this shit goes once I got into the relationship. As I'm May go further in later.
Yeah, but this is the thing he needs to understand. Like, there's certain situations where the baby daddy probably been hitting her or stuff like that, so they had to get away. But this is the thing that I need women need to understand. Single mothers need to understand. This is why you have to have 50-50 custody. You know, if the man is willing to have 50-50 custody with you, give it to him. A lot of women don't want to do that because they want that child support money. But if a man is willing to be 50-50 custody with you, go ahead and take it. You got some guys out there that will see. You got some guys who will take full custody of the child, knowing that you probably into some shit. You know what I'm saying?
So point number one, a lot of these chicks in the clubs that were regulars, they were single mothers, and they're single because they prioritize themselves over their fucking kid. Okay. Point number two, okay, is that women, single mothers, they use their kids as a guilt and shame tool. I don't know if any of you guys have played chess before, right? But you know the pawn, the piece that you strategize your way into position. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these single moms use their kids as a pawn. And if you guys
Yeah.
relationship into a deeper sense with this situation that was going on, I ended up developing a connection with this kid. Kid was great.
Yeah.
And I ended up actually caring for this kid. And when things would happen in the relationship where I would like just suddenly start to call my phone out of nowhere, this kid all of a sudden was actually calling my phone, which, guys, this kid would actually call my phone and ask me like, hey, what are you doing? Or like, where are you going? Right. And this is when I realized how dirty
situation similar. You know what I'm saying? I built a connection with the woman's daughter, whatever, and the daughter would call me and ask me for things. Me and the moms already broke up, but I done built such a connection with the daughter, or built such a connection with the child. It's like, damn, I can't say. Women do. That's how some of us do. You know what I'm saying? They find a good man, and when it don't work out, and the child is really invested into the person that they dealt with, they make the child call the dude so they can get some other shit from the dude, man. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro.
to manipulate me into feeling bad. Imagine how that baby mother or how single mothers use their kids against their. Okay, but bottom line is a lot of single mothers, they use their kids as fucking pawns on a chessboard. This chick would literally have her kid text me like, hey, what are you doing? Or I miss you, even though over time I realized like she was using her kid, which was like 9 or 10 at the time, to actually like guilt me into going back with her. You know what I'm saying? And since I was so invested in that kid's life, like I actually wanted to help that kid out. I want to see that kid have a masculine figure and all this type of shit that I don't even believe in anymore, because I'll get into it later. But yeah, single mothers, they use their kids as pawns. You know, if there's somebody watching this video and they're like, oh, that's not all single mothers, that is 95% of single mothers. I'll let the baby daddies in the comment section comment. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, a lot of these single mothers use their kids as pawn and as leverage tools. You know what I'm saying? Think about how twisted that is, right? So point number 3 that I want to go into, which is actually,
yeah, before he gets to point number 3, man, I ain't gonna lie, he right, man. I mean, you got some women who won't do it, but there's a majority of these women, man, that will use the kid as a pawn, especially if they know that the dude they was dealing with was a good dude. If he was a good dude to them and they broke up and they were the reason why they broke up, and the child loved the dude, you know what I'm saying, like a father figure or something like that, they will use that child as a pawn to get that man back. You got women who do that. You got some women who won't, but you got those few that will do that. And that's the shit that hurts, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because especially when you ain't got no kids, you invest time into the woman and the child, and then you break up and the child, you know what I'm saying? You leave a piece of you with the child. It's like, damn, you gonna use your child to sacrifice? Come on, man.
very important for you guys to understand is that single mothers don't care how much you do for their kids. Single mothers do not care how much money you spend on their kids, how much time you invest in their kids, and not recognize your effort and not honor it whatsoever. And the moment I realized this, guys, this was a distinct moment that I realized this. Gotten out of work, so she was with her daughter. We met up at Target. She was doing some grocery shopping. I came along, and I remember distinctly how $5.
Okay.
And I remember at this time I was struggling with money, right? But since I wanted to be, you know what I'm saying, Captain Save a Single Mother.
90. Okay.
And guys, my bank account, I remember, literally went negative to pay this fucking grocery bill. I literally was given. And 2 days later, I remember we had a disagreement where we literally like broke off. And I remember I remember her telling me this distinctly, guys. She said, "I never asked you to do that anyways."
Saying you want to do the right thing, but she never asked you to do it though. I mean, I gotta side with her on that one, man. Like, bro, you went ahead and did the Captain Saver chick, man, and you knew your money was low.
It was the moment that I realized, bro, you can be with the best of intentions with single mothers. You can be trying to like help them and help their kids, but at the end of the day, I never asked for you to do any of that anyways. Because at the end of the day, guys, the reason that they're single mothers is because they, right? So if you think that they need you or that you're adding some help to their life, they're not going to value that shit, because the fact that they're single mothers.
I think also I've seen this with a lot of like stepdad type of things where guys will be the stepfather to the woman's kids or whatever, they get married and all that. And I saw a video where the woman told the husband, the stepfather, on his back that the father won't do, so I got the right to discipline the child. You know what I'm saying? She get all upset and stuff like that. That's the type of stuff that a lot of dudes, that's the reason why a lot of dudes do not want to deal with single mothers, because you know what I'm saying, if you invest a lot of time into the situation and it goes left, exactly how they think.
Okay, I feel like the only situation that it makes sense would be if the baby father's a complete deadbeat and he disappeared and daddy's either involved or things were just broken off because of a situation. Guys, she chose to be a single fucking mother. She chose to raise that kid by herself. So she's not gonna value that shit. She's not gonna value. She didn't even value being with the father of her child. You think she's gonna value being with fucking you and investing so much time and energy? This woman does not value anything. She literally told me, "I never asked for you to do any of this anyways," right? And guys, the reason I'm telling you guys these stories is so you guys can realize the mindset of a lot of these single moms. You know what I'm saying? This was the reality that I experienced. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, guys, like I've heard stories like this before. You know what I'm saying? I've heard countless stories like this before over and over again, but they never meant anything to me because I had never gone through it. I never thought it was real. But guys, this shit is real. When a woman is a single mother, it's a choice that she actually made because she chose to not swallow her ego and just work things out with her baby father, or she chose to value her thought life over raising the kid with her baby father. And so you're putting yourself in a position where this chick is not going to value anything that you do. You're building a connection with the kid that's going to be taken from you one minute to the next, and she's not going to value anything that you did for her or her kid.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what he's saying is 1000% right, because being a single man and dealing with women with kids, Now, I've had women who value what I've done for their kids. I mean, there's some kids, their kids are mainly adults now, but when I was dealing with them, they were younger, and I still keep in contact with them today. It is what it is. But you got a lot of women out there that'll take advantage of a man if he show some type of weakness as far as I'm gonna be kind to this, I'm gonna be kind to her and all this stuff. So what he's saying is not the only story I've heard. I've heard this from countless people and I've experienced it myself. So let me know what you think in the comments below. It's your boy Jay here with another video. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll leave the OG link to the video in the description. Until next time, folks, I'm out.